Contacts, files across your devices. One moment. Okay, let's go. So here's why syncing matters. You want to keep your calendar, contacts, and files up to date on all devices. You would also want to access important information anytime, anywhere. You also want to avoid manual duplication or version confusion. And finally, you can enhance productivity and reduce missed meetings or lost data. And yeah, losing your data really sucks. So if you have like all your data synced, if one device, let's say, breaks, then you can still see your old photos or whatever you have. And here's how it works. So data is stored in the cloud and updated across connected devices. It requires the same account to be logged in. Syncing occurs automatically when connected to the internet. Some apps may offer manual sync or advanced sync settings. So yeah, one thing I want to touch on when you're syncing your like photos and stuff, um, wait, yeah, when you're syncing your photos, you want to like it's going to take up storage and you might need to pay for the storage depending on how much you use. Like Google Drive, it gives you 15 gigabytes for free, but if you have more than that, then I think they charge like maybe $5 a month for like 100 gigabytes, which should be enough. Um, yeah. And then here's how to choose the right ecosystem. So Google works best for Android, Chrome OS, and cross-platform syncing. This is the one I would personally recommend. Apple's iCloud is seamless for iPhones, Macs, and iPads. Microsoft integrates best with Windows and Office tools, which are like Word, Excel, PowerPoint. And mixing ecosystems can work, but it may require extra setup. Note that I think Microsoft and Apple both give you like 5 gigabytes for free, but Google gives 15, so they give you more for free. Here's how to sync your Google Calendar. So you want to log into the same Google account on each device. Then you install Google Calendar app or use built-in calendar integration. You want to then enable sync in settings under accounts. We might show a video on how to exactly do this, but this is just a quick overview. And events update real time across all logged in devices. So here's how to sync Apple Calendar. So you want to use the same Apple ID, which is like your account for Apple, across all of your Apple devices. Then you turn on calendar syncing in iCloud settings. Your events should appear in the calendar app and iCloud.com. There is also a tool for shared calendars if you want collaborative planning. And here's some tips for calendar management. So you want to color code events to differentiate between work, school, and personal. You want to set reminders and alerts to stay on schedule. And then you want to use recurring events for consistent routine. So that may look like you set a reminder to remind you to eat some medicine every like 6 hours or whatever the schedule is. That could be really useful. And you also want to sync calendars with other apps like Zoom or Microsoft Teams. Yeah. And then here's how to sync with Google Contacts. Enable contact sync in Android or Gmail settings. Syncing will automatically back up new contacts to the cloud. Then merge duplicates and manage contacts at contacts.google.com. And it syncs with Gmail, Android devices, and all Google Workspace applications. And Google Workspace is like if you're like Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Slides, yeah, that type of thing. And then here's how to sync with iCloud contacts. It's pretty similar. So you turn on contact syncing around iCloud settings, and all changes reflect across devices using the same Apple ID, which is the Apple account we were talking about earlier. You can manage contacts on iPhone, Mac, or iCloud.com. It supports syncing with apps like Mail and Messages, so you will know who you text and email. So yeah, it also saves emails as well as the phone number, which is useful. Oh, yeah. Okay. And then here's some basics about Google Drive and OneDrive. So both allow you to store documents, spreadsheets, and media in the cloud. Media refers to photos and videos. You can access files from browser or apps on any device. There's real-time collaboration on docs, sheets, and slides, meaning you could like send a link with your friend and you guys could both type on the same document or sheet. And there's also version history, which allows you to track and revert changes. And here's some third-party file sync tools. So tools like Dropbox, Box, and Sync.com work on any OS. They're great for sharing files without needing the same ecosystem. You can sync folders across multiple devices with desktop apps, and you can choose your ideal platform based on storage needs, collaboration tools, and costs. But yeah, I wouldn't really recommend these because they're less integrated and a bit harder to use than iCloud or the Google Drive. And here's how to sync across mixed platforms. So let's say you have a Windows computer and the Apple phone. So you can still use apps like Google Drive, Dropbox, or Microsoft 365 for universal access. You can sign into the same account across all devices, regardless of brand. You can check app compatibility on App Store and Google Play. And you can say, and syncing can bridge Windows, iOS, Android, and macOS devices. I want to note that if you use iCloud, it's really hard to use like iCloud on a like Windows computer or Android phone. Like Apple likes to keep their like tools very like secure and not connected to other devices. So if you have like an Apple device and a Windows computer, I'd recommend using Google Drive for syncing. And here's some troubleshooting sync issues. So you want to first ensure that your Wi-Fi and data connections are stable. Then you want to verify account login, which is your username and password, and verify that's correct. You want to restart apps or devices to force a fresh sync, and also check for app updates / changes or re-enable sync in settings. Here's some security and privacy tips. Use two-factor authentication for your cloud accounts. So this is basically when you log into a account, it will actually like text your phone like a 6-digit code, and you just take that code and enter it there. So if a hacker wants to log into your account, they need both your phone and the like username and password. So this is super secure. You want to avoid syncing sensitive data on public / shared devices. You also want to regularly review app permissions and linked devices. You want to choose reputable services and make sure that they have strong encryption policies. So any of the ones we mentioned in this presentation are completely reputable. Oh, that's not exactly true, but they're most likely not going to sell your data. And here's some final takeaways. Syncing keeps your digital life organized and accessible. You can choose tools that work well with your devices and workflow. And you want to regularly review your settings to maintain performance and security. I wouldn't say regularly, but maybe once in a while, like just review what settings you have on. And then when done right, syncing saves time and increases efficiency.